welcome back as we continue our journey through the book Guitar Landscapes. I'm Wayne Cockfield, and today we're going to play the modes of the major scale. Here's the C major scale, which is also called the C Ionian Mode. Now if I play the C major scale starting on a D note and ending on a D note, then I'm playing what is called the D Dorian Mode. It's still the notes of the C major scale, however. Now here's the E Phrygian Mode. It's the C major scale starting on the E. And now here's the F Lydian Mode. And here's the G Mixolydian Mode. Here's the A Aeolian Mode. And finally the B Locrian Mode. Now each one of those modes has a very specific kind of sound. Playing them back to back like this, you really don't hear them in context the way you would played along with a chord progression. Here is an E minor, F, G, and then I'll go back to F. Chord progression. Now this chord progression is an E Phrygian chord progression. And all of these chords come from the C major scale, but when you hear those three chords together, you don't really think C major. You don't really hear that sound. For instance, if I played that chord progression and ended on a C chord, it wouldn't really sound in that mode. In other words, the E Phrygian mode sets up a tonality of E, not of C. So let's do that. I'm going to play that chord progression. I'm going to end on C instead. So you can see it really kind of changes the sound of everything. It breaks the mood. So let's try playing along with that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to lay down this chord progression, then I'm going to improvise over it a little bit. So let's hear what the E Phrygian mode sounds like, which once again is just a C major scale being played over these three chords. Well, here's the E Phrygian mode. You see it has a very Spanish feel, just like the chord progression does. Well, each mode has its own specific kind of sound and mood about it. Now the G Mixolydian mode fits over a G7 chord really well. This is the G Mixolydian mode. Once again, it's a C major scale, but I'm basing this scale around the G note. So if I play a chord progression and then improvise over that, you can hear the kind of bluesy, sort of jazzy sound that this particular scale has. Well, here's the G Mixolydian mode. Now that particular sound, like I said, is kind of a bluesy or a jazzier kind of a sound over the G7 chord. Well, our next mode is the F Lydian mode, and this is the chord we're going to use. It's basically an F bar chord, but I'm just raising my first finger so that I'm playing the F note on the 6th string, but I'm leaving the E and the B string open. And this gives us a characteristic Lydian kind of sound. So let's try that one. See, it has a kind of a spacey sound, and a big part of that is because of this effect that the B note has on the chord. Well, let's take a look at the D Dorian mode. We're going to use D minor 7 and E minor 7. There's D minor 7 and there's E minor 7. I'm actually going to play these voicings though. I'm going to play D minor 7 here and then E minor 7 here at the 7th fret. So D minor at the 5th, E minor at the 7th. And this is really a kind of a classic rock sound. You hear it a lot in Santana's music. You'll hear it a lot in the Allman Brothers. It's just a great modal sound. So let's check this one out. Well, the next mode is just the C major scale, but it has a fancy name. It's called the C Ionian Mode. And these two chords that we're going to use, probably millions of love songs, maybe not millions, but a lot of love songs have been written based on this chord progression. C major 7, F major 7. So particularly pretty kind of a sound, which so is the major scale. If you think about it, it has a very pleasant, pleasing kind of sound. So let's check this one out. Notice I'm using those half steps a lot, the half steps between B and C and E and F. Well, our next mode is the Locrian Mode, and we're going to use a B minor 7 flat 5 chord, and I've added an E note to it. It gives us a nice spacey kind of a sound, but also kind of a mysterious sort of sound. So let's try that one. Well, our last mode is the Aeolian mode. So this is A Aeolian, and we're going to use the chords A minor 7, G7, and F major 7, which have been played in many, many classic songs, rock songs like All Along the Watchtower, Stairway to Heaven. So anyway, here we go. Here's the chord progression, and then I'll improvise over it. Well, one final note here, just to show you how modes set up their own mood, if you will. Here is the A minor chord progression that we just used, and then I'll use the C major 7 chord progression that we used as well. And you'll hear how the two chord progressions change the mood just by the chords changing, the harmony changing to a different mode. Well, I hope this has given you some fresh ideas that you can use. Feel free to experiment around with these chord progressions and also with the scales. Remember, you can always go to the website, Guitar-Gps.com, and you can pick up on some free downloads there. You can also pick up the book, Guitar Landscapes. Thanks a lot, and I'll see you next time.